Can say is that I think the Court of Appeal has come to the correct decision.
Issues what is called the certificate of the result of the appeal, and that finds its way to the Services Commission, I would presume. I would like to thank the acting DPP, Ms. Claudette Thompson. She has been magnificent, and of course, thank my staff for having given her great support. Especially when you are successful and you do your job and you try to do your job well, you will come upon headwinds and challenges. So I regarded this as just another headwind. It was hard to be taken suddenly when I had to make the decision to step aside. It was heartbreaking, but my faith in God carried me through.
Hello, JPU family. Welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered. You have just heard a bit of what Paula Llewellyn's attorney had to say following the ruling by the appeal court, and I'm going to let you hear the statement in its entirety. I found this picture of Paula alongside Portia Simpson Miller, and I wanted to share that picture here because I see some commonality between Paula and Portia. Both of them, as women, they face a tremendous amount of pressure, and they have been disrespected in ways that we don't see men being disrespected. Women who held top jobs in the country, Portia being the former prime minister and Paula being the country's top prosecutor. So they both have that thing in common. With Paula now, with the amount of disrespect that Paula has endured, and the threats and the insults about her looks and everything, she never ever one day went low or gave the public the impression that she was affected or impacted by these types of, abusive behaviors. She never did. She never went low. She never lost it. She has remained calm throughout the whole process. And she has never played the victim either. In a release in the Gleaner this morning, they quoted her as saying, "I have been doing this for 40 years and I've had to deal with headwinds and challenges from every source and from every political color. It matters not, because at the end of the day, you have a code of conduct by which you live and you have a duty." So just briefly, the issue with Paula is that the PNP was telling her that she needed to go now because she's already had an extension from the Prime Minister. So there was an amendment which increases the retirement age for the country's DPP, Auditor General, and other members of the workforce. It says here, quote, by the appeal court, upon promulgation of the amending act, the incumbent DPP automatically benefited from the increased retirement age by virtue of Section 2.1. Section 2.2 did not add to that benefit and is therefore not unconstitutional or inconsistent with 2.1. Goes on to say Section 2.2 is a transitional provision concerning the incumbent DPP, and the words elect to retire should be construed to mean to elect to apply for early retirement, that is, before attaining the new retirement age of 65 years. So that is what the justice said at the appeal court. Now, it seems to me that the PNP currently has a problem interpreting the law. And I don't know how initially the Constitutional Court could have made such an error. If you look here, it says, in a summary of its decision, the appeal court disagreed, stating that the lower court's test to arrive at such a conclusion was both problematic and appeared to be a misunderstanding of the law. Misunderstanding of the law. And to see that the opposition is part of this misunderstanding of the law, it is quite troubling. It's the same way that Mark Golding and a few people in the PNP tried to distort our constitution when it came to his UK citizenship, where he tried to say, this does not apply to me because I am a dual citizen of a Commonwealth country. When, according to the Constitution, it clearly said that no citizen of another country or of another foreign power should be able to sit in the parliament with dual citizenship. It doesn't matter if it's UK, US, Canada, it does not matter. No citizen of another country. It's very clear. Even me, who is not a lawyer, can say it is very clear. So it is troubling when you have lawyers like Mark Golding, who say him is a lawyer, and other people who call themselves lawmakers who can misinterpret the law and so ignorant to the law. This is troubling. And if you guys remember correctly, it's lawyers like Abe Dabdoob and Mr. Wildman, PJ Pattison, and other lawyers who had to come out and interpret the law as it states. And I guarantee you, Mark Golding could not have won that case in a court of law in Jamaica because the Constitution is so clear. Maybe that's why he stopped pursuing the issue and stopped distorting and undermining our Constitution, because he probably came to a place where he realized that I'm wrong in how I am interpreting the Constitution. I don't even know if they didn't do it intentionally, because you can't be so ignorant to the law and you call yourself a lawyer. It does not make sense. But let me let you hear what Paula Llewellyn's lawyer had to say yesterday.
I have not had the benefit of studying the judgment as yet because it's going to be very involved and detailed. But from the press summary, I think they were correct in how they construed Section 2.1 and 2.2 of the legislation, that Ms. Llewellyn, being the incumbent, automatically benefit from the extension that Parliament had legitimately granted to the holder of the office, whoever that person is at the material time. And this power of election was really misconstrued by the full court, and that is where they fell into error. So I think it's a very sound judgment, but as I say, I reserve the right to study the judgment in its entirety when it is available.
When will Ms. Llewellyn resume her official duties as DPP?
Well, that depends a lot on the court issuing the official document, which is known as the certificate of the result of the appeal. And from that, it would be transmitted to the Public Services Commission, who would then take the appropriate action, meaning that the existing DPP or the acting DPP her tenure would be terminated. She reverts, I imagine, to her usual post and paving the way for Ms. Llewellyn to resume active duties.
How has Ms. Llewellyn coped throughout this, I don't know if ordeal is a word, but throughout this matter?
Well, from my own perspective, I think she had just taken the time to refresh herself, and we both had confidence that she would resume her position given the arguments that we had put before the court. So she was refreshing herself and keeping herself abreast of the various issues as they arise from time to time, with a view to resuming duties and acting as quickly as she can in getting up to speed.
Yes.
When she resumes office.
Yes. Did she take an approach, or did she take the view that she was being targeted?
No, I don't think she shared the view that she was being targeted. I know there was a political spin being put on some of, I would say, rulings or decisions. But Ms. Llewellyn that does not deter her. That's one of the hazards of the job. I, as Solicitor General, knew that. That's one of the hazards of the job when you take on high public office. And that is something which, as they say, it comes and you roll with the punches. So I don't think that is any way as unfazed her, certainly in resuming her active duties.
A question I should have asked from the start. You've spoken with her since the ruling has been handed down?
I just briefly said congratulations to her.
What was her reaction?
I think it was one of, how should I put it now, quiet, uh, expectation. Quiet expectation that she knew she would have prevailed. And yes, this is how it has impacted her. I think a lot of the enthusiasm which I normally see in other persons who have had a court victory, it's not there. It was very subdued, and we spoke about this earlier before the ruling came out, that having regard to the death of Barbara Gale, that has cast a pall over her whole outlook on, where Jamaican society is today. And the judgment coming at this point in time is, yes, expected, and she is happy that she'll be able to resume duties, but not with that exuberance or that enthusiasm which is characteristic of Miss Llewellyn.
Yes, guys, so we'll be seeing Paula again very soon as she heads back to her office. You are listening to Jamaica Politics Uncovered, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching.